excited. I am here with my amazing and fabulous Kathy Keegan, the most amazing, beautiful podcast partner in the world. This is Still Human. If you are new, welcome, welcome. We're so happy that you're here. Kathy and I are both coaches, speakers, authors, and we've been in the transformational world for years and years and years. And we found that when we were in some big masterminds, there were some gaps. Some big gaps. And so we were sort of inspired to create this podcast as a comedic look at being a coach, at being a business owner, and at being human. All the things we wish we had known. And so our goal is to pull back the curtain and share with you our vulnerabilities and all the things that we see in ourselves and with our clients and students and life. So welcome to Still Human.
Welcome. Oh, what a great intro. You always do such a great introduction. It's so good to be here with you.
Oh my God. It's so good to be here with you.
I get email after email after email about these ways that you can 10x, 100x, 20 billionx your business. And again, not to put that stuff down. There are people who really do that. What they leave out is the work that it takes, the support that it takes, the ongoing support. So oftentimes you're getting ahas, but an aha is only going to take you so far, right? And so you need ongoing support. And that's where Elaine and I come in. We're the ongoing support. We're the ones that stick with you to help you get where you want to go.
Wow.
I think it'd be the way to say it.
Kathy Keegan dropping some pearls of wisdom right at the top.
Elaine,
that's why I hang out with our people.
Important question. Do these headphones make my hair look fat?
No, I think they make your face even thinner.
Okay, good.
Than ever before.
That's good. But I asked about my hair.
Oh, sorry. Your hair is... I love it. No, it's
God.
We teach what we need to learn.
Right.
And oh my God. I mean, so I've been working a lot on, my business, but also I have this beloved, devotional thing. I've fallen in love with this older woman and she is in decline. And so it's a labor of love, and has it been challenging lately. And, you're strung out if you come home and you're like, I'm going to go weed to wind down. That and also because I got a letter from my township that was like, your yard's...
I want to say, though, there's something about weeding that is a wonderful use of energy, because you're getting rid of things that aren't helping, and you can do it without any regret at all. How cool is that?
Yeah, and it's decent exercise. And I have to cover myself from head to toe because there's poison ivy, even though I spent $1 million trying to get it out of my thing. But so last weekend I was doing a lot of early morning weeding, and then I actually came home and put a headlamp on, and I was weeding by moonlight, which was actually quite beautiful. Only Elaine. I'm sure people were like, there is a crazy lady in her yard at 9:00 at night. What is she doing? The point is, though, I actually had a spiritual moment with the moon, and very different than when I used to do drugs all night long, many, many, many moons ago. And I was listening to podcasts, and I was listening to Smartless, which is just these hilarious comedic actors riffing on each other. And then they do get amazing guests. But one of the things they talked about why they started their podcast, because they just love hanging out with each other and talking. And I was like, yeah, that's what we do too, And so what a gift to have an appointment with each other almost every week or every other week that we get to, kibbutz. Hang out and talk about what's really going on, and the ups and downs of yay, we're coming out of the pandemic. Oh God, people. I love people. I'm an extrovert, but I'm also kind of an introvert. But how am I about masks and gloves, and what if people lie? And there's a lot to navigate.
Oh my God, it change. And it's very, very tough to navigate because, in the midst of change, we're kind of looking for something to sort of stand on, some kind of ground to stand on, right? In your case, it was in your yard weeding, which, again, I just want to say, I just love your commitment to that. And I love that you turned it into a ritual. Here's the thing. You can wash dishes. It can be a ritual. You can take anything, boring work that, let's say you have to get something out and you don't have your automatic envelope, stuffer thingy, and you have to fold a few letters or whatever. You can turn that into a game and turn it into a meditative exercise. And it's a way of being present in the moment. And I just love this image. I have this beautiful image of you. And then, of course, of your neighbors, what's going on there? I mean, what would the call to 911 be? Hello, 911. Yes, caller. There's somebody who thinks they're mining, but they're above ground. I don't know. I don't know what those calls would be like, but what you've done is you've taken, you found other ways to get the lead out. And to deal and to acknowledge one that you're dealing with you're dealing with some real life and death issues.
Yeah, and I, from somebody who I grew up with eating disorders and then drugs and alcohol and busy and bad boys, so many addictions. Learning ways to decompress that do not involve shopping or food or, eating emotionally, or let me go buy another course. Let me, there's so many things that we do as human beings, I think. And so, I'm grateful. It was, and the miracle is that I really did look at it as a gift instead of, it's not fair.
I know.
I could be 5. But, Kathy, I wanted to ask you, because you're such a good coach and you're so studied and you're always reading all these books about human behavior and potential and mindset and psychology. And, and I have this client, let's call her Emily. And Emily is, she's committed to her business. She loves coaching people. She loves what she does. And she's really good as a coach for her clients. But when it comes to her own business, she does this thing where she resists marketing her monthly webinar. And this has been, she's been doing this now for quite some time. And it seems like all of a sudden, oh my God, it's the week of the webinar. Have I invited anybody? Have I sent any emails? Have I asked people to? No. And, and so we're at this place again. And I think she thought that she had overcome this issue, but it seems to be back. And she was saying how she just feels full of dread, even though she loves doing it. When she gets going, it's like teaching and it's fun, but the whole promoting it, inviting people to it, there's just this block. And I was like, you know what? I want to ask Kathy Keegan, what would she say? And I feel like our dear listeners and watchers, viewers, might be able to relate to this. Maybe it's not a monthly webinar for you, but maybe it's something else. You're really committed to it, but then you keep not doing it, resisting it. I think it's human being. We have this. So take it away, Kathy.
Oh my gosh. First, I just want to say, would that be today at 4 p.m. Eastern time that Emily has this particular...
Yes.
So,
yes.
And what is that? Is that the third Wednesday of every month?
It's the third Wednesday. Yep.
The third Wednesday of every month. Okay. So, yes, the thing that you're talking about, this whole idea of promotion / attraction. What does, we can often forget how important our service is. And how important what we offer is. Because we're steeped in it. We're steeped in what we do on a daily basis. And so we forget that some of what we offer is a complete newsflash to others. and is inspiring to others. And so, I think coming back to and thinking about your place of service, who is my client and how can I serve them? And who are the people who are being invited? People who need, in this day and age, fluency. They need fluency in being online, being present online and doing video is not going away. Right? And
Right.
so for people who need those skills, when you want to learn, and first of all, to go to something that costs you nothing, except a small amount of time during which you're going to laugh and learn a lot, to help you get better at how you present yourself when you're on a Zoom call.
Right.
And that's just one part of it. So I think sometimes we can forget how important our offering is. Part of it is, and you can tell me if this is true or not, because there's so much stuff out there.
There is. There's so much, right?
Right? And and that's why the idea of attraction is important, because promoting something is fine. You can promote things, but you're not thinking about the specific person you have in mind. Who are those
Right.
people? What do they look
Right.
like? Where do they hang out? Where are they doing their Facebook lives from? Those sorts of things. And sort of thinking about that. And then, I got some advice from somebody the other day, and I thought it was really important because I too will go out and do research, see what other people are doing just to get an idea.
Right.
And then what happens is I get all, oh my God, they do it so well. I'm
They're
such
so
a
good.
X,
They're
Y,
so
and Z. Now,
polished. They're so right. They're
I'm
taller, skinnier,
comparing.
prettier, faster, funnier.
Right, exactly. And the fact of the matter is that what we can compare and successfully compare is me to earlier incarnations of me. This wisdom was passed along to me, and I thought that's really a good way of thinking about it. When you think of, here's Elaine looking gorgeous, for those who are watching us on YouTube. And so for the rest of you, just imagine she looks fabulous. She's got a beautiful background. Here she is. And if we talk to her 20-year ago self, it's going to be a very different thing, right? What this person done. What this person. Is that the past tense of did? Dud? I had dud. Nosotros had dadamos. But anyway, I think, sorry about that.
No, I love it.
So, and that's the thing. And the other aspect of what we do that I think is so challenging, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, is the repetitiveness of what we do. We're doing the same thing over and over, and we actually are getting results. We're getting more fluent. We're getting better at what we do, but we forget how much of an impact that can have on other people, as you go forward and do this. And we are going to attract the people who want to be with us, as long as they see themselves in what it is we're saying. And so one of the things you do that's so brilliant are your Facebook Lives. And so doing those, and that's going to attract people in.
Thanks, Kathy.
I don't know. Does any of that
great.
help? Make
Yeah,
sense?
what I hear in that is, I forget in the quote promoting of it, and I make it all about me. I mean, Emily.
That's right, Emily.
It's all about her instead
Remember,
of like.
there's no me in Emily. Well, there is, but it's Emily.
But it's not right.
And another
Yeah,
way.
I think. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So great. No, it's just so great to remember. It's not about me. It's about helping other people to find their voice and own their power and tell their story to help heal the world, which needs that now more than ever. So it's not even about me or Emily, right? So anyway,
Exactly.
beautifully.
Whoever your client
Beautifully
Emily
said.
is, she sounds like an amazing person. Sounds like somebody we might want to even have on our show.
Wow. Okay. Well,
If we could
I
ever
will
get-
ask her.
You could just, maybe talk to her and see if she'd be willing to show up.
Okay.
And I had another thought, and you'd think it was 4 p.m. Eastern time.
No, it's okay. Well, I was going to ask you something else.
Okay.
So I think you were sensing that. That's really, Elaine wants to ask me something else. So Kathy Keegan, you have this delicious partnership with this amazing man, your husband, and you have clients who adore you, who work with you over and over again. Anybody who comes in contact with you is like, oh my God, I love your podcast partner. How do you use humor to nurture your relationships? Or, if your husband ever does something that bothers you, maybe he's perfect, I don't know. Do you use humor in how you interact and engage? Would you share that with us?
Oh, gosh. Sure. So I thank God for improv. I just want to say, even though it scared the living daylights out of me at the time, what I loved about improv, or let me put it this way, what it taught me, and then I eventually ended up loving about it, was yes and.
And
We've talked about it here before. If I say, yeah, but, first of all, I sound like a cartoon character. But second of all, yeah, but stops the conversation dead in its tracks.
And it kind of also diminishes. It doesn't just stop. It undermines whatever was said, and there's an implied make wrong.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but when I feel like I'm being judged, I like shrink. I'm not like this open-hearted. I'm like, oh God, retreat, get away, right?
Yeah, you shut right down. And so we do use humor and yes and in our relationship. Are we perfect? Sorry, thanks for playing. No. And there are genuine things that, we have to negotiate and talk through. And what has helped so much is to remember who I am and what I bring into this relationship of who I am, and to remember who he is and what's important to him and what he brings into the relationship. And so that respect for what matters to him and his respect for what matters to me makes all the difference in the world. It doesn't mean we don't get into kerfuffles and, little tiffs and arguments, but there's just a sense of yes and. Did I just negate everything I just said?
Well, I think you were, because you're human.
Ooh, that again. So, and one time my sister-in-law said, hey, could you do a demo of what that is? And we were like, well, I don't know, but we just had a conversation. And she said, but that's how you always are. I said, well, yeah, you asked for a demo of how we are, and we are how we are, and I think that's the other thing, there's not it's so hard to believe that there's not the magic that you think there's going to be with like a pill or a substance. It's very disappointing because you're hoping against hope. I'm so trained to think that if there's a pill for something, I want that, because I want to bypass some of the steps that we all end up having to go through as humans, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. To this day, if I hear something about a pill or whatever, I'm thinking, ooh. I perk up.
Me too.
Like, maybe that will help. Maybe that's the solution.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's so interesting. Yes.
And the solution, the thing is, what medical science has been able to do is fabulous. There's no doubt about it. But it's not the only thing. And it's part of an array of ways for us to be healthy, or to treat cancer, or to treat other kinds of illnesses. It doesn't totally solve problems. And one of the things that's been on my mind is because I've suffered from depression for many, many years, and I've had a lot of success in treating it. and it's a combination of things to treat it and to deal with it. But it isn't one thing, and it isn't just taking a pill and it solves it. And that's really important. There's a lot of sort of, I'd call it experimentation. You know, you try something, it works or it doesn't work. It kind of sort of works, or it doesn't work for a while. So there are a lot of instances where we are like scientists trying to figure out what actually works. And one of the things you're probably witnessing right now, Elaine, with that beautiful person you care for who is going through her dying process, is that, and this happened with my mom, was no, there isn't a pill that just works and takes away the pain. You have to deal with, you have to try things, you have to titrate, pull somebody off something, try something again. And it rattles your cage, because we're really somehow led to believe that there's a thing that's going to make it all go away. And that feels a little depressing, except that there's a magic when you connect with another person that goes beyond just the two of you. Am I on a soapbox today? I hope I don't sound like...
No, like so many juicy, amazing, beautiful things to unpack, you know?
Right. It's like you and me. It's like you and me. I was sitting here beforehand, and I was just like not that energized. And then I thought about you, and then you get on, and there you are. And
apologizing for being late. You know.
But so well, I'm butting myself. That sounds disgusting.
Or kinky. I don't know.
Oh, I love you. You're so fabulous. This is the and, right? This is the and. There's something about the two of us when we talk with each other. It sparks conversation that I don't want to end.
Yeah, me too. I think that's why we, you know, if you're new to the podcast, Kathy and I started working together. I was helping her with her stories, and we just kept laughing, and then profound things were coming out, and it was like this organic bubbling up of, I think this is supposed to be a podcast, and so delighted that we're still getting to do it. And but so many juicy things that you said, Kathy, and I love it that your sister-in-law was like, that's it, you know, because I think in a way that's life. Like sometimes, you know, like, you know, I coach quite a few people who we all go to this networking event that happened yesterday. And so we were, and I helped them with their, you know, sponsor pitches. And, you know, it's part of what I do in my coaching stuff. And so today we had our accountability meeting that meets 3 times a week, and so we were sort of reviewing and assessing, and one of the women was like, well, I didn't get much of a lead in, you know, and I'm so grateful, because I said, this is juicy, let's all talk about this. And I realized this is what happens to me in business almost every day, right? Like, I am putting myself out there. I am preparing for an interview or a conversation or a phone call or a meeting. And in the preparation, I get unconscious expectations. Now, you can set an intention of how you would like it to go, right? It's great to have intentions. And then an expectation, though, is like sort of a dream, a hope, a wish. And if you're Elaine, it's a lot of times it can be sort of magical thinking.
Well, I heard an expression, and it's expectations are premeditated resentments.
Yes.
Ding, ding,
Yes.
ding, 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 ding,
Ding, ding, ding. And what I find fascinating and slightly horrifying is oftentimes, at least for me, I don't even realize I have them. Like they're sort of unconscious. They're like in the back closet of the attic of my mind.
Huge.
And so I show up, I have the intention, I da-da-da-da-da, it goes how it goes. And then later on, because I'm a little bit of a delayed reaction, I have this sense of anxiety, disappointment, depression, funkiness. And, you know, so anyway, so this has kind of been like a new realization for me. So I was so happy that I got to work with one of my clients and say, look, we all know this. These networking meetings, there's a lot happening. There's people in the chat. There's so much happening. And really, it's all about the follow-up and deepening the relationships and finding out, okay, you know what? I don't want to really deepen with that person. That's okay. Absolutely. But this person, we really gelled and, you know, and so anyway, it was such a gift to get to coach her. And I realized that that's something I struggle with too, of like, you know, I am so results oriented, which is hilarious to me because acting is all about the process. And, you know, when I was really, really pursuing, when I was auditioning all the time and people would think, oh, it's a process, I was like, I'm going to hit the next person that says that. You know, which I guess is probably why I like to weed now, because you can see your progress. You can see the results. The door needs painting. It's shabby and peeling. You paint it and voila, you see your result. And so much of life, it's not like that, right? Business, we're building relationships, we're building collaborations. It's, you know, you don't roll out of bed and go, ta-da, and you have a full-blown business, right? And so anyway, I just thank God for humor, but thank God for things like improv to teach people like me how to be in the uncomfortableness. Right? The not knowing. Like in AA, they talk a lot about how sometimes you're in the hallway, like one door just closed and now you're in the hallway. And, you know, how are you going to be in that hallway if you're like me? Wait, open the door again. Help. Oh my God. Right? Like maybe if I walk down the hallway, there might be tons of other doors that could open or are already open. There might be some windows. I'm sure there's a ledge that I should probably stay away from. But like, right? And so I think so much to me of life and growing and evolving is like, can you be in the doorway? You know, and that's one reason we do love improv and humor. Because what if I could laugh? Oh, I'm in the hallway again, instead of like, oh my God.
Right, exactly. You know, and I, first of all, I just want to acknowledge the wisdom bombs that you have just dropped. It's just, what a beautiful, please go back and listen to that section again, because there's so much there that is so helpful as we make our way day by day and do the business that we want to be doing and live the lives that we want to be living. I mean, it's just so beautiful. I had heard this expression once that if a door closes, open it. That's what doors are for. But sometimes what you're talking about is that door did close and you're in a hallway, but you can explore the hallway, right? You can explore the hallway. You can see what else is there. And one way to do that while keeping yourself grounded is something called pivoting. Now, pivoting has a couple of meanings. I think we've probably talked about it here too. But from a basketball sense, what is a pivot? The pivot prevents you from traveling unnecessarily and getting the ball taken away from you, or I don't know if they give you fines. I haven't watched basketball in a long time.
I'm going to fine you. I think you get flagged.
I don't want to get called for traveling. And so, but what do? You have one foot on the ground, and you use the other to go around 360 or however wide you want to go. I think your limit is 360. But you know, it allows you to be able to go and look at other things and then make a decision about which direction to head in, right? And so as we live in the VUCA world, and I never remember what it stands for, it's something like volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and it could be assholery.
Like Vulcan, right?
Oh, Vulcan. Volcanic. Yeah. She just did the Vulcan hello sign. Hello, my name is. I'm sorry. With my husband, I'm like Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings adjacent. So I know just enough to really
To be dangerous.
yes, well, to let people know that I just don't know anything. Like, we'll be somewhere and he knows everything about pots and pottery. And I'll say, well, that looks like a Van Kirk. And he's like, that's Van Erp, or I don't know, whatever it is. And then, or it'll be. Or it'll be I have like the totally wrong type of thing. And here's the thing, it's important to laugh about that stuff, right?
Yes.
So you made a mistake, big deal. You know, to be able to learn how to laugh at those kinds of things. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about here, is just the idea of, in a world that can be so crazy, the question that you asked, Elaine, was, what do I do to promote and attract? Is know where you're coming from. We belong to a network, the eWomen Network, and Sandra Yancey, the founder, will say often, if you don't know, wait a minute, what does she say? She says, if you don't know what you stand for, you'll fall for anything.
Everything, right.
Right? And it's almost as important to know what to say no to as to what to say yes to. Right? And so the more focused we can be by knowing who we are and coming from that place, I think that's what helps. And then what did you do? You had this thought, these things are going on, and then you brought it up with another person. You shared it. You gave it some air. And then you got some perspective, and the perspective you can agree with or disagree with. But you got some perspective, and it gave you a chance to sort of see what's out there, and then you get to decide.
Right. We have
get
choice.
to decide what you want to do next.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, Emily gets to
Right.
decide
Right.
what to do next.
Yes. Thank you. So great. So many juicy tidbits, Kathy. Thank you so much. So, so tell me what else is going on, like spring, you're in Chicago, so that means probably still a little chilly. What do you have that's exciting? Are you doing anything? Do you have any trips planned?
I actually do have a trip planned, and it's to see family members on the East Coast. I'm going to be out there to celebrate my dad's 89th, my sister-in-law's father's 98th, the graduation of my youngest niece on that side of the family from high school. And it'll be nice. It'll be good to get out of Dodge because, I love Dodge. I mean, Chicago. And yeah, flowers are blooming here. There's greenery. The wind is still off the lake. So that means it's like 60 with a wind chill. But a lot of it has been what you're talking about, is kind of what it means to come out of all this. How you start to get adjusted to this life in your house and the routines that you develop. And then all of a sudden you can start developing other relationships. You could actually maybe call and meet somebody for coffee, right? And start to deepen some friendships and relationships. So that's some of the work I'm doing, because I don't know that many people here.
Right.
I've met some people, but now that work is to, as you pointed out so beautifully, you're in a network meeting and there are a whole bunch of people there. The point of being at that meeting is not to meet 100% of everybody there and pursue 100% of everybody there and convert them all to paying clients, which is kind of what's always in the back of my mind. It's to meet somebody. It's to get more fluent in talking about what you do and what you love, because continuing to do that gets you closer to being able to articulate that in a way that's memorable, so that people don't leave and they're like, I met this really nice lady. She does some kind of coaching. I don't remember.
Right.
You want to be so specific that, it's like Elaine Williams video, Elaine Williams presence, Elaine Williams story, Elaine Williams authenticity, real. Then you start having those associations. And then when somebody comes along and says, I'm not feeling really good about how I appear on film or anything, I know who you can talk to.
Cool. Well, thank you, Kathy. And Kathy, your mission is to end needless workplace suffering. And, I think we've talked a lot about like the gifts of the pandemic. I mean, still praying for the health workers and all the people who've lost, and there's still a lot happening. And there's been some silver linings in some of this, learning to be with yourself. But, if you work for yourself and your boss is a jerk, Kathy can help you. And, and I think this is so human to go, I'll be happy when I don't have to deal with this, when I don't have to do the commute, when I don't have to deal with and then you come home and you're like, I'm still grumpy because I have to deal with me. Or, so, one of the things Kathy's so great at is helping people reframe.
Right. Get unstuck.
Get unstuck.
You can just really
so many
start to
people
feel.
I know are stuck right now.
Yeah, they feel trapped. And they don't feel like they have any options at all because there are these stories about how the market is, how it's changing. And so, again, that's dealing with a whole bunch of inputs from outside that your brain is just looking at and just starting to explode. And so if you are feeling trapped or stuck, give me a call. Let's just chat for free. You don't have to pay me anything, just
she
to
is
talk
like the
about
no
what's going
pressure
on.
person.
Yeah.
No pressure person.
Yeah. The beauty of coaching, the beauty of almost anything is if it's not a fit, you can find somebody else. Right? Because it's important when you're going to work with somebody one-on-one or you're going to hire somebody, you want to feel like they're giving you what you need and that there's a connection there. If there's not a connection, go somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can I tell you this, trust your gut. I've heard that. Trust your intuition. But, if you grow up ignoring that or stepping over it or not being able to, when you grow up in a violent alcoholic family and your gut is going, this is bad, this is dangerous, but the people are saying, no, or whatever, it's a lot of disconnect. And with lots of therapy or whatever, there's a lot of voices in my head, right? There's the angel, there's the devil, there's the peanut gallery, there's the inner critic, there's the critic's inner critic. So, I'm not schizophrenic, and I know that that's a real thing, and I'm not making fun of that in any way. For me, there's a lot to manage sometimes. And, and I'll just share this because to me, I understand how sometimes a scarcity mentality feels more comfortable. Less options means less decision fatigue. In some ways, I see how it can be comforting. And coming from more abundance, having more opportunities can feel like, exciting, but overwhelming. And so one reason I'm so grateful I've gotten to further develop my gut and at least pay attention to the red flags. I still am like, that's a red flag. Okay, I've seen 5 red flags. Maybe, so I met this guy in January and he seemed brilliant and he was talking about funnels and and he was a little bit snarky, which my gut was going, and my head was like, yeah, but, and after several conversations, my head was, he can help you. He's the one. Okay, he's snarky, but I was making excuses, and my gut was like, but it was a smaller, quieter voice. And thank God, the thing that finally woke me out of my, I don't know if it was like a business crush, my stupor, whatever you want to call it, was he was not listening. So he would ask me the same questions. And, I get it. If you have lots of clients, then take notes. But he kept like, no, we'd already talked about that. And he'd go, no, what do you have? And I was like, we've already talked about that. And we've already talked about that. And luckily, my fabulous virtual assistant was like, whatever, like, I'll work with him if you want me to. I don't know. Like, she was really, she kept like being a soundboard. And finally, after a couple of months of really sort of being jacked around, I just said, yeah, this is not a fit. And I was afraid of his reaction, afraid of making somebody mad, but I just knew like it's not a fit and I don't have time. Like I don't understand everything that's happening, but I just knew like for whatever reason, this is not working. And for the first time in my life, it seems, this is not, I trusted the way I do business. Like,
Yeah.
even if I didn't understanding everything he was saying, but he kept saying this, but doing this. And every time there was so much confusion, but I just knew like whatever's happening, I hate working this way. And this is not how I do my businesses. And I don't have time. Like I'm on a mission. And so I said, you know what? I think we just need to end this. And actually, I would like to get a refund. And I got it. And he kept coming like, oh, but da 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 da, oh, but da 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 da. And I trusted my gut and my intuition. And Kathy, I mean, it was uncomfortable. It was really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is uncomfortable. And there's an expression that what you are doing and how you are being is screaming so loudly, I cannot hear a word you're saying. Because remember, people will use words to try to persuade you, but how are they being? Are they doing what they said they were going to do? Are they following up? Are they empowering you? Are they helping you grow? Do you feel great when you're around them? Sometimes a little ticked off because they hit a little truth and now you're going to have to pay attention to that? Or do they make you feel like crap? And if they make you feel like crap, then listen to that.
If every time your encounter with them is confusing, I feel like that's
it should be simple.
Right. And I think there's a part of me that will maybe always be attracted to sort of arrogant, aloof, or snarky people because there's a part of me that thinks, ooh, they're smart. And it's like, maybe they're just an asshole. I mean, I don't understand it. Like, why do I still think bad boys in leather jackets are, kind of sexy? Maybe there's a part of me that's never going to totally, whatever. But anyway, I just share this because I feel like a lot of women, if we can get quiet enough deep down, a lot of times we do know the answers. It's just uncomfortable. Like, I want you to give me the pill, Kathy.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you give me the pill of not being uncomfortable in my business? Is that
right? Right. That's why humans are susceptible to addiction for that reason. And so it's just so beautiful that you can share what happened and that you could make those decisions and that you learn from those decisions and that you don't spend a lot of time beating yourself up. You just say, you know what? Yeah, there were red flags. There were red flags everywhere. And that's okay because a lot of times we do want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. Right? We want to give somebody a chance. It may be in our nature to do that. And so you're trying to give someone a chance and they're not meeting it in any way, shape, or form. And so then you get to make that decision, say, yeah, this isn't going to work for me. But that feeling that you can feel, it's like breaking up with somebody.
It was,
like, oh my God, will they be able to live without me? How will they do? And it's like, no, you're the people who messed up.
Right. And so that was, grateful for all my Al-Anon work and for working with you and so many great lessons. So, oh my gosh, this was so much fun.
Yeah.
So I just want to say again, if you are feeling stuck in your life, if you want a delicious and divine, amazing coach who can help you look at your relationship to work or even your significant other or anything that you're working on, you should reach out to Kathy Keegan. That's K with a K, Kathy with a K, and Keegan with a K. And, she's everywhere. She's on Still Human podcast and Facebook and LinkedIn. And she is really an amazing, amazing human being.
Speaking of amazing human beings, Elaine Williams. captivate the crowd. It's so true. And here's the thing. I know that Emily has this, but I know that you also have something that people can go to for free. And that is the third Wednesday of every month at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to learn how to be able to tell your story, get comfortable being on Zoom calls and all the others, so that you have an elegant, professional, fabulous presence, you want to work with Elaine. She's delightful. She's got your back, and you just feel it the whole time.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. And you know what? I'm just going to say, because I'm doing, the link stays the same, and we just changed the dates. So it's captivatethecrowd.com/master-class /master-class. So we, so you can come register, and then we'll make sure that you know about the next one if you miss this one. And also, Kathy, I'm starting to play on Clubhouse, which is a blast. So hopefully we can do a Still Human, little mini promo or something sometime about that. But it's been wonderful as usual. Thank you so much for joining us. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you're up to. Let us know if you're stuck, if you're inspired. Reach out and have an awesome, fabulous rest of your day, week, month, life. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you
Bye,
so
everybody.
much. Take care.
Bye.
Be well.